Hey everyone, Becky Liney here. Just wanted to give you all a quick update on the process for success. In case you hadn't heard, the dollar number that is being proposed right now has gone up from $88 million to $115.4 million, which keeps closing two elementary schools, will require new elementary school boundaries for most of the district because they would have to build a new elementary school. And it includes a lot more improvements to the athletics facilities and different things like that. So just wanted to give you all a heads up and share some information with you that wasn't previously available until April 10th, the last Board of Education meeting. So let me pull up my screen here. I just want to share something with you guys. This is from a presentation that was made by the architectural firm to the Board of Education at their request, because the Board of Education has been hearing discussions about the process for success and felt like there was a lot of information that was missing, because we keep hearing that Pleasant View and Cooper and Oaklawn are all older buildings and they're inefficient and it doesn't make sense to keep them open. But there's a lot of things that just don't make sense. For example, 6 of our elementary school buildings, including Pleasant View, Cooper, and Oaklawn, are all within 10 years approximately in age of each other. Swaney, El Paso, and Winetier were built around the same time. Swaney is exactly, or it's actually 1 year newer. Winetier was built in 1959, which is about 4 or 5 years after Pleasant View, and it hasn't had any improvements made to that building since 1992, just like Pleasant View. So there's a lot of things that just weren't really making sense, and we keep hearing that the efficiencies of these buildings are not good. So the Board of Education asked the architectural firm to get some of this data together, because we keep hearing it, but we're not actually seeing numbers that support this. We haven't seen any numbers that other than discussions of, well, it's not efficient because it's old, and we can't add enough parking spaces to satisfy city code, so we need to close the building and redo, or send the kids somewhere else and just kind of forget Pleasant View and Cooper, just build new. So for me as a consumer, I had to pay attention to the whole picture, not just bits and pieces. So whenever I was buying my house, we had to make sure that we were going to be able to afford the utilities in addition to the cost of our home. And we were actually looking in another community with a house that was bigger for about the same price, but it wasn't affordable for us because we weren't going to be able to afford the utilities costs. The water bill was somewhere between $150 and $200 a month, which was way high for a water bill. And we realized that even though the cost of the home and the structure might be cheaper, there were other costs that were going to make it much more expensive. So overall, even though we paid more for our house here than we would have elsewhere, it made more sense for us to buy here. So looking at all of that, this information that I'm showing you right now was presented at the last board meeting. And it shows part of the picture that really wasn't presented previously, and I feel should have been part of the discussion about these schools all along. So the top half of the slide is schools that are in the area that were built in 2012, and the bottom one, School D, is a super energy efficient green school. And it shows the annual cost per square foot of utilities for these schools, anywhere from, the average is $1.09. We'll just stick with that. Comparing that to Derby, Cooper, Oaklawn, and Pleasant View, the average cost right now is 90 cents per square foot. Now, from what I understand, Pleasant View has a somewhat out of control gas bill. However, I also know that the boiler has needed to be fixed for years. They're having to run the air conditioner while they run the boiler because the boiler is kind of out of control and they can't regulate it the way that it needs to be. It should have been replaced. There's money somewhere between $2 and $4 million, I don't know the exact number, that's left over from our last bond. Why isn't that money being used to fix up our schools and fix these issues? Why are they just sitting? Why are we fixing these things? It makes no sense. I can't just not fix things in my home and just expect everything to be okay. So anyway, there's money available potentially to fix these things. It's just kind of sitting. But as it is right now, Cooper, Oaklawn, and Pleasant View are actually cheaper than Park Hill for utilities at $1.01 per square foot. But we're being told that these buildings are so inefficient, it's costing us an arm and a leg in utilities and it's more expensive. But it's actually not. What other information out there isn't accurate? What other information wasn't presented to the committees that are making these decisions? Because this information was only presented as a result of the Board of Education's request. This was not presented to the steering committees, which is the one that's actually making the discussion for this stuff. What other info isn't being presented, guys? We need to make sure that we're making well-rounded decisions. Excuse the baby noises. Work from home, mom. It's what we do, right? So anyway, I would encourage you all to look at the current proposal, which is now ballooned up from 88 million to 115 and 0.4 million. That's a lot of money, guys, and a lot of changes for Derby. And ultimately, when you look at the enrollment projections that are again available from the school district, our district's not growing. We're not projected to get more students in the next 5 years. We're actually projected to get fewer elementary school students over the next 5 years. So we need to make sure that what taxpayers are going to be paying for is going to make sense. So anyway, I wanted to make you all aware of this, and let me know if you've got any questions, and I encourage you all to attend the board meeting tonight at 6:30. It'll be at City Hall. Thanks, guys.